Every so often, there is a prospect in the draft that is so enticing and so full of potential, and yet such a massive risk to take given that they are so raw and labeled as a long-term project. There have been some great successes in this realm, such as the one of Giannis Antetokounmpo and the one of Rudy Gobert, but in this video I'd like to talk about the biggest project from the 2016 draft, Thon Maker. This is the same player who said one day he would be the MVP of the league, and the same player who Kevin Garnett also said would be a future MVP in this league. But looking at him now, his future in the NBA is now in question. On paper, Maker had scouts drooling over his Hall of Fame potential, standing at 7 foot, 216 pounds with a 7'3 wingspan and 9'2 standing reach. Thon was a physical specimen who was also extremely athletic for his size. He was so athletic, in fact, that he broke the NBA record for the highest standing vertical for any player over 6'11 at 32 inches. He was also extremely mobile, and in addition to this, he displayed great shot blocking at the rim, ball handling and passing ability, and most importantly, an outside shooting touch during his time in high school. However, even though he seemed to be a once-in-a-generation player, he wasn't without his weaknesses. He really lacked strength with his skinny frame, and there was concern that at the NBA level he would be pushed around on the block, and that his ball handling skills wouldn't transfer over to the next level as well. It was also noted that while he did have some shooting ability, that he would need a lot of time to develop into a consistent outside threat. Because of this, and the controversy surrounding his age, Maker was one of the most polarizing draft prospects in NBA history, labeled as a long-term project with a potentially high payout. He was projected to be drafted anywhere between the lottery to not drafted at all, but in the end he was selected with the 10th overall pick by the Milwaukee Bucks, who seemed to be a perfect fit as they had success in developing long-term projects, evidenced by now MVP Giannis's rapid growth. However, as we see now, Thon's years in Milwaukee didn't go as planned. Over his 2.5-year career there, Maker averaged just 4.7 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 0.7 blocks on relatively poor shooting splits of 43% and 33% from 3. While it is true that Maker did show some flashes of potential in his rookie years, such as the time he went for 23 points and 4 threes against the Detroit Pistons, or when he had 5 blocks against the Toronto Raptors during the playoffs, he was just so inconsistent and barely showed any improvement after his rookie season. Even after the Bucks nearly doubled his minutes after his rookie year, you could say that his sophomore season was even worse, as there was a significant drop in his efficiency from the field and the three-point line, even with more opportunity given to him. Because of his lack of improvement, the Bucks focused on winning, and Maker himself requesting a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks, he was moved to the Detroit Pistons during the 2018-19 season. And it was here where many thought that he would get a lot of chance to develop and improve, given that the Pistons didn't have a solidified backup center behind Andre Drummond, and he was competing with guys such as Zaza Pachulia for that spot. Unfortunately, it was more of the same for Thon, and even after averaging a career-high 19.4 minutes per game, and putting up career highs in field goals attempted and three-pointers attempted that season with Detroit, it just didn't translate to any meaningful numbers, with Maker averaging just 5.5 points, 3.7 rebounds on 37.3% shooting from the field, and 30.7% shooting from the three-point line. The one positive that came out of the season was that even with just 19 minutes per game, he averaged a career-high 1.1 blocks per game for Detroit. For Maker, the 2019-20 season was set to be an extremely important one, marking the end of his rookie contract and for many one of, if not the last chance for him to prove whether or not he would be something in the NBA. And it seemed Maker would get all the opportunity in the world to showcase his talent, as Blake Griffin went down for the year with left knee surgery and Andre Drummond was traded to the Cavs near the trade deadline. Everything seemed to be aligning for Maker, as he could take either the power forward or center position as his, and yet nothing materialized. In his 14 starts on the year, Maker did improve, averaging 9.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, on 50% shooting from the field, and 34.4% from 3. However, this just wasn't enough, as he was severely outplayed by Christian Wood, John Henson, and the rookie Sekou Doumbia, and was regulated to just being a third stringer off the bench, playing just 12.9 minutes overall and averaging 4.7 points and 2.8 rebounds on the year. With the season all but over for the Detroit Pistons, there's really no telling what team would be interested in Maker's services. While he is just 23 years old, many teams should be questioning what more can Maker improve on. What can he really contribute to an NBA team? For me, it's clear that Maker's biggest problem is his frame and strength. Too many times have I seen him get moved around down low and out-rebounded, or easily pushed off the block when he tries to get position. This basically nullifies his 7-foot frame and 7'3" wingspan, as well as his 9'2" standing reach, which you would think he could use to his advantage. This may be the reason he chooses to shoot nearly half of his field goal attempts from the 3-point line. His lack of strength and frame also translates into his relatively poor screen setting, as defenders are easily able to step over him and basically negate his screen. Secondly, Maker has some of the worst hands I've seen in the league. He has absolutely stone hands. I've seen it in games where he receives a great pass from his teammate for an open look at the rim, only for him to fumble it and give the defense time to recover, leading to a much tougher shot. Maker also lacks any sort of post game, and from what I've seen, seems like he only has jump hooks in his arsenal. In terms of finishing, anything other than a dunk is honestly a struggle for Maker, as he's only shooting 42.9% on layups, and he's attempted 49 of them on the season. On paper, it may seem that Thon is a decent shot blocker and rim protector given his limited minutes and playoff performances, but the thing is, these all come from the weak side, and he's actually a worse defender than you think. When guarded by Maker, opponents shoot 51.5% from the field, 2.9% better than the league average, and 61.2% from less than 6 feet, proving that he isn't as good a rim protector as he's made out to be. So this leaves the question, how is Thon still in the league? And honestly, it's for the sole reason he got drafted so high, his potential and upside. At just 23 years old, there is still some hope for Maker to develop into at least a serviceable starting center, but the window of opportunity is closing, and it's closing extremely fast. I would expect Maker to sign a deal anywhere between $5 to $10 million this offseason, with a maximum of 3 years on that deal. My verdict is that best case scenario, he develops into a Brook Lopez type of player, but if he can't accomplish this by the time his next contract expires, he'll be an end of the bench guy for the rest of his career, or out of the league altogether. Thank you very much for watching the video, and let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen to Thon Maker for the rest of his career. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you know when I upload next. And as always, have a good one, and remember, the Milwaukee Bucks selected Thon Maker 1 pick ahead of Domantas Sabonis, who was a first-time All-Star this season.